Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about interdependence. Organisms, that means living things, depend on each other for things like food and shelter in order to survive. And this is what interdependence means. It basically means if there's a change in a population of one species, it will have a knock-on effect on another species. Now, to illustrate this, I'm going to draw a simple food chain. So first of all, at the bottom, I've just drawn a producer. In this case, it's grass. Right here, I'm drawing a very poor picture of a caterpillar. And just above that, again, I apologise for my drawings. This is a picture of a bird. Now, all this food chain shows is the grass is eaten by the caterpillar and caterpillars are eaten by birds. Now, let's show how all of these organisms are interdependent upon one another. So let's imagine if a hunter shot all of these birds, what would happen to the number of caterpillars? Because fewer of the caterpillars are being eaten by the birds, there'd be an increase in the caterpillar population. If there's an increase in the caterpillar population, there's going to be more caterpillars to eat the grass, so there'll be less grass available. Similarly, let's just imagine another example of interdependence. So let's imagine now instead, all of the grass died because there was a drought, so there wasn't enough water for the grass to grow. So if there's no grass, then that's going to hugely impact the caterpillar population and there'll be fewer caterpillars. Well, eventually there'd be no caterpillars at all if they haven't got anything to eat. If there's no caterpillars, then all of the birds will die out as well. So interdependence shows, it demonstrates how these different organisms depend upon one another. Their numbers influence each other. Now there's just a couple more things that we need to look at in terms of interdependence. One word we need to know is parasitism, which is basically to do with parasites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate what a parasite is. I'm just going to do a picture of a dog, and we are going to think of an example of a parasite, because an example of a parasite is a flea which is on the body of a dog. So again, apologies for my not so great drawing of a dog. There we go. Now, in a parasitic relationship, there are two different organisms. One, in this context, the dog is the host. So, living off the host is a parasite. In this context, it's a flea. So there's a little flea which is drinking the blood of the dog. Now, in this context, the flea is the parasite. Now, in a parasitic relationship between two organisms, it's only beneficial for one of the organisms. It's only beneficial for the parasite. So parasitic relationships is only good for one of the two organisms involved. Now, the other type of relationship we need to know about, apart from parasitism, is mutualism. And a really nice example of a mutualistic relationship is the relationship between plants and bees. So I'll just take 1 second to draw these plants. And then over here is going to be my bee. Now, unlike a parasitic relationship, where it's only good, it's only beneficial for one of the organisms, in a mutualistic relationship, it's good for both of the organisms. So in this particular example, the benefit that the bees get is nectar, i.e. food, from the plants. So as the bees go onto the plants, they get their food, and then they go to the next plant. The benefit for the plants is pollen basically stays on the bee, on its legs and on its underbelly, and when it goes to the other plant, it transfers the pollen, allowing the plants to reproduce. So the big difference between a parasitic relationship and a mutualistic relationship is a mutualistic relationship is beneficial for both organisms involved, not just one. So that, guys, shows interdependence. It shows how organisms have an effect on each other. And that effect on each other and that relationship between each other is called interdependence. Thank you.